Welcome to this live stream from First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Our mission is to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. We invite you to visit our website at www.ucdsm.org. It's a great way to explore all that our church has to offer, from adult programs, to religious education, to social justice work, and more. But the best way to know us is to visit on a Sunday. We'd love to get to know you over a cup of coffee after the service. Speaking of which, today's service will begin shortly. So now we'll take you inside.
Hear these words from Margaret K. Keep. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, and to be at home here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. May this time of belonging begin. In the month of September, we explore the theme of building belonging, and the theme for today is why we choose to belong here. Today, Board of Trustee members will explore why they chose to belong here and why they chose to serve on the Board of Trustees. Please join me in the chalice lighting words. In these wild, historic, and uncertain times, we gather to remember who we are, who we belong to, and what we are called to do. As we light this chalice, we kindle the spirit of the great turning, the movement of justice alive in this nation today. May we feel in our bones, and in the stillness of this hour, may we sense it calling our name. And now it's time to pass the peace. You know the routine, and if you don't want to be included, I think people will know.
Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
Peace.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Diane Ford, she, her, hers, your co-celebrant this morning.
And I'm Barbara Martin, the other one. Okay, we welcome all genders, ethnicities, bodies, and stories. Whatever you are carrying with you and whatever you long to set down or pick up today, may you find here the love, support, and encouragement that you seek. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you'd like to connect with others, whether it's your first time or not, we invite you to grab, and this is new, a yellow cup, a Let's Talk cup, mug, during this coffee hour after the church service. And the mug is a simple way of saying that you're open to conversation, ready to meet someone new, or happy to share in community. So pick up one and put in your beverage of choice and get the conversation going.
And now let us deepen our awareness of this place and the season. Our First Unitarian Church is located on land that has been home to humans for 12,000 years, starting with people of the woodland culture, including the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki.
Centering ourselves in our place in the cosmos, the moon is waxing crescent. Today ends the first week of autumn. And we are in the midst of the Jewish High Holy Days, which started with Rosh Hashanah on Monday evening and will go to Yom Kippur on Wednesday. As a pluralistic tradition, we honor the beginning of the Hindu festival of Shardiya Navratri and today, and the Christian feast of Saints Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael tomorrow. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't have a statement of belief or creed. Instead, our community is held together in love by covenant. And this means affirming and reaffirming our commitment to one another, trying to put love at the center of our actions.
Please join me in speaking the covenant from the Unitarian Universalist Association bylaws. We covenant to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritage of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. And now the UU Singers. Just a second. And now? Yes. And now it's time for the children's story. So any children, can you come and sit in the front here with me? And I have a story to show you. Come on down. This is a story about the power of collective action, i.e. unions. So. And kids, I'm going to need your help with some sounds. This is about cows, click, clack, moo, cows that type. Do you have that one? Okay, so I need kids to say, click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Let's practice that. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Okay, good. Okay, cows that type.
Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears,
click, click, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo.
Well, at first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible.
Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo.
Then he couldn't believe his eyes.
Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows.
Well, it was bad enough that the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets. No way, no electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. No milk today? Well, in the background, he heard the cows busy at work.
Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo.
The next day, he got another note.
Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows.
The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door.
Closed. No milk, no eggs.
No eggs! In the background, he heard them. He heard them.
Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo.
Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Now, Duck was a neutral party. So he brought the ultimatum to the cows.
Okay, I need people to quack for me. Let's go. Quack, 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 quack.
The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered round the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning, and he handed Farmer Brown a note.
Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we will have Duck run them over with the typewriter. Run sincerely, the cows.
Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. Now, the next morning, he got a note.
Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. Very good. The end. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Kids, go down to your classroom now. Our teacher's here.
Go in joy, go in peace to meet a day
first reading, excerpts from Everyone Belongs, The Power of Radical Welcome by Dr. Hashan Batz. Belonging is not a luxury. It's a necessity for teams, organizations, and communities to thrive. Yet fostering belonging requires more than good intentions. It demands deliberate action. Enter the concept of radical welcome, a transformative framework that goes beyond inclusion to ensure that everyone not only feels invited, but also deeply valued. Radical welcome isn't just about opening the door, it's about redesigning the house. It's about creating systems, cultures, and practices where everyone, from the team member of the community participant, can feel seen, heard, and empowered. But why does this matter so much? Because the stakes are higher than ever. Rejection is violence. Rejection is more than a passing moment of discomfort. It is a form of violence that leaves lasting scars. Exclusion, whether explicit or subtle, has profound effect on individuals, from eroding self-esteem to triggering feelings of worthlessness and despair. These effects ripple outward, undermining the cohesion and success of teams, organizations, and communities. The future belongs to those who create spaces where everyone feels they can belong. Radical welcome isn't a one-time initiative. It's a way of being. It's an ongoing commitment to ensure that no one is left behind. And now we have some words of encouragement from a couple of our members here about something you might want to participate in. Susan?
Hi there, Susan.
Hi, Walter. Did you know we're getting ready to start a new round of circle suppers?
I've been waiting for this to happen. It's a really good way to get to know other people in the church, a good way to enjoying each other.
Okay. And you've been in them for a while, haven't you?
I've done at least 5 turns.
That's what I thought. Yes, meeting over a meal for 3 to 4 months with the same 7 to 9 people is so much more personal than a large potluck or even an after-school chat. What do you think our new members and visitors need to know about circle suppers?
Well, they need to know that it's a potluck, and the person whose turn it is to host provides the main meal. Others provide the sides. And if you don't want to host at your home, you can do this in a restaurant. You can share a meal at a restaurant.
I've learned about some really interesting, new-to-me restaurants from meeting with my groups. I've also had a nice variety of single people and couples in my groups. Do you want to tell people how to sign up?
Sure enough. So there's a posting on the church webpage. There was a note in the newsletter, and don't you usually have a sign-up sheet out in the lobby?
I do. I usually have a table, but not today because I have to scurry off to Forum, which, by the way, should be very interesting today. But in the future, that will be another way to sign up.
Okay. And I'm so glad that another round is starting. It's such a good community building program for the church, and it's also a lot of fun. I'm going to put on my other hat as a church board member. I want to let you know that the church is engaging in a round of strategic planning, and so we'll be having a series of small group sessions across the church over the next month or so, including some Zoom sessions a little bit later. And we're going to explore 4 key questions. You told us in the ministerial search process that you were interested in our outreach to community. You told us that you were interested in how we grow our membership and our diversity. And you told us that you wanted to know how we could build our caring community, and finally, how we would remain open to change. So we want to explore your ideas about how we can make that happen in these small group sessions. So if you would, look in the newsletter, look on the church webpage, and these will all be there. Sign Up Genius. We'll do this, a little more promotion about this next week in the forum. So looking forward to seeing you.
Good morning. I'm Laura Berardi, she, her, pastoral care associate for our congregation. Sometimes we experience big changes in our lives and we need a good listener to talk to. If you are feeling overwhelmed, lost, or alone in your grief, please call the pastoral care team. You can reach out to us at pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.org. You can also request assistance or submit a joy or sorrow through the Caring Community page on our website or by speaking to me or any member of the pastoral care team. We are a community of many hearts and minds experiencing all points on the spectrum of human emotion. Here's what has been shared with us this week. We begin with a joy. Anna and Elijah Evans are filled with both elation and anticipation upon receiving the joyful news that Anna is pregnant. They honor the full spectrum of emotions they are experiencing, embracing both the excitement and the apprehension, and in remembrance that Anna's first pregnancy ended in miscarriage last year. In this moment of hope, they hold the memories of their loss and the possibility of new beginnings. As we hold joy for those experiencing the sweet moments of life, we take a breath and expand our hearts to hold those in life's more tender moments. We extend our love and sympathy to the family and friends of Jean Evans. Jean died Tuesday, September 23rd at the age of 90. She and her husband, Roger, who preceded her in death, had been members of this congregation since 1966. A celebration of life for Jean will be held on Sunday, October 12th at 4 p.m. here at First Unitarian. We also continue to send our good energy to Volker Liebeseller, who remains at Powell receiving treatment. We also must acknowledge the pain our larger Des Moines community is feeling at the arrest and detention by ICE of our superintendent of schools, Dr. Ian Roberts. We echo the call of Betty Andrews, Iowa State President of the NAACP, who called for transparency and due process, and I would add his safety. And as Erica Johnson of Iowa Migrant Movement for Justice reminded the community Friday night, this is an escalation, but nothing new for our immigrant and refugee neighbors who have long dealt with ICE and the terror of their methods. May we reaffirm our commitment to side with love and vow to be advocates for justice. We take another breath now, another pause to share the names of those you are carrying in your heart today. You may speak their name aloud or type them into the chat if you are joining us online. I close with these words from D. Scott Cooper. We bow our heads in order to imagine not one path, but many. We imagine a path forward for those who cannot imagine any path forward because of poor health, financial hardship, family crises, and other roadblocks we cannot begin to understand or imagine. We struggle to imagine a path forward for those who are forced to leave a homeland against their will and for those unable to leave a war-torn homeland despite their lives being in danger. We imagine a path forward for those who leave their homes to make a better life for their families elsewhere. May we be a welcoming presence along that path toward hope. We come together to imagine a path forward for those of us despairing because we do not seem to know our country nor our neighbors, despite the fact that we have not moved at all. May we be the good we are hoping to find as we travel side by side down the path toward hope. We imagine a path forward for those who feel lonely or lost. May we take one another's hands as we walk that path toward community. Truly, we know as we imagine these ways forward and take one another's hands, the paths will lead to hope, the roads will lead to beloved community, and the arc will bend toward justice because we have dared to travel with love in our hearts. We join now together in a moment of silence.
In the spirit of gratitude, I will read a few of the cards currently on our Singing Gratitude bulletin board. Okay, see if I can do it without my glasses. A big thank you to our game co-hosts at the September Collective Action Game Night, Natalie Mason, Sarah Latorno, and Mike Metz. You made the evening a blast. The other one, 3 cheers and a big huzzah for the folks who put up the new ceiling in Griffin Hall. Thank you. Huzzah, huzzah. Our work of supporting First Unitarian's mission in the world shows up in 3 different ways financially. We support the operations of the church with our yearly pledges. We support the future of the church with our capital campaign, with our weekly baskets and gifts that we give for those. And we support the future, and we support the grassroots efforts of our church with fundraisers like the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund. We practice our value of generosity every Sunday by passing the plate. For in giving, we receive. Barb and I will take turns reading an assortment of quotes on the many ways of choosing to belong. Sangu Mandana, in the very secret society of irregular witches, said, "It's not always enough to go looking for the place we belong. Sometimes we need to make that place."
Ubuntu is an African humanist philosophy emphasizing that a person is a person through other people, reflecting a deep sense of interconnectedness, community, and shared humanity. And these are the words of Desmond Tutu. A person with Ubuntu is open and available to others, affirming of others, does not feel threatened that others are able and good, for he or she has a proper self-assurance that comes from knowing that he or she belongs in a greater whole and is diminished when others are humiliated and diminished, when others are tortured and oppressed.
Some of us aren't meant to belong. Some of us have to turn the world upside down and shake the hell out of it until we make our own place in it, advises Elizabeth Lowell in Remember Summer.
Some days, the memories hung over us like a weight. Each was light enough to bear its own, but combined, they could make it difficult to even wake up or walk up the stairs. And yet, she wouldn't trade them away for anything. Their existence made this house, this life, and a place that she had fought for and won, a place where she belonged. By Margaret Rogerson from Sorcery of Thorns.
Benjamin Hoff in The Tao of Pooh tells us, "When you know and respect your inner nature, you know where you belong. You also know where you don't belong."
And finally, from Brené Brown in Braving the Wilderness, stop walking through the world looking for confirmation that you don't belong. You will always find it because you've made that your mission. Stop scouring people's faces for evidence that you're not enough. You will always find it because you've made your goal. True belonging and self-worth are not goods. We don't negotiate their value with the world. The truth about who we are lives in our hearts. Our call to courage is to protect our wild heart against constant evaluation, especially our own. No one belongs here more than you. And now, finally, we will hear from our Board of Trustee members, Oge Nnadi, Natalie Mason, Soren Kramer, and Diane Ford. And they are speaking about why they chose to be here.
Hey y'all. My name is Oge Nnadi. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a board member. I started being one just this year. And the reason that I choose to stay at this church and also to be a board member is because you all make me feel special. So let me count the ways. One is, like, as a board member, I get to have this, like, cool tag added here. And then, like, my picture is up in the Griffin Hall, and I have the privilege of, like, addressing you. Like, this might not seem like a benefit, but because public speaking makes me really nervous, but it's also only special people get to stay here, so thank you. But also, last year, I lost my job, and I lost it after losing a few other jobs. And I reached out to the pastoral care team, and they, in the language of Christianity, they ministered to me really, really well. And they helped me through that really difficult time. And that was excellent. Also, I'm in a number of committees in this church, like I'm in the choir, I'm in the AV team, I'm in the adult programming team, and these teams that I'm on, I was invited to them. So it's not just that they needed help with something, but also they enjoyed my company enough to want to hang out with me. So that's just, makes me feel good. Now, the cost for all these benefits is that I have to come to church every Sunday. I have to come early, to be part of the AV team and also to practice for the choir. Once a week, I have to practice with the choir also for an hour and a half. And then if there's going to be pubbing afterwards, then I have to stay even longer. So that's difficult. I also have to make sure that when I receive an email from anybody on the board, I have to respond to it promptly because things have a schedule here. All these costs are worth it to feel like I belong. So I'm just gonna thank you again for being my church, for being my congregation. When I first came here, I used to take meds for anxiety. And for months, I used to take it and just sit off in the corner and try to be not noticed. And I don't need to do that anymore. So, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Mason. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and this is my final year serving on the Board of Trustees. But I want to talk a little bit about my first year serving on the Board of Trustees. So in the summer and fall of 2023, we didn't have a cleaning service for the church. So volunteers came in on Saturday mornings and vacuumed and scrubbed and tidied and got the church ready. I was my first year on the board, really early in my first year, and so the first Saturday that we were going to do this, I thought I ought to come to set a good example. I should lead by example. I'm on the board, this is important. But I came back the next Saturday and the Saturday after that, and most of the Saturdays for that few months that we didn't have a cleaning contract, because it gave me a sense of belonging that I had not experienced before in our church. Despite 9 years of membership, I felt like I wasn't as much a part of the web of life here as I could be. When I was asked to serve on the board, honestly, I was mostly surprised that anyone had thought of me. But I said yes because I wanted to do more than just show up on choir Sundays to sing. I was looking for a deeper connection and sense of belonging, and I thought I might find it serving on our congregation in the board. And I did, but first I found it cleaning toilets. The first Saturday I came to church to clean, I didn't know where any of the supplies were kept. There were rooms in the lower level that I didn't know even existed. And I felt a little timid, but I offered to tackle the bathrooms because I figured that was something simple that I couldn't mess up. By the third Saturday I came to clean church, something had changed. It wasn't just that I knew where everything was and what all the processes were for cleaning, or that I knew how to navigate the mop bucket over the wonky bit of floor in the ladies' room without spilling. It was the sense of belonging and pride of ownership in our church that grew every time I came to clean. Because the thing is, you don't ask a guest to clean your toilets. You do it yourself, or you hire a professional if you can, but you don't invite someone over to dinner and say, oh, by the way, give the bathroom a wipe down while I set out the appetizers. And you wouldn't expect to be asked to clean the toilets in anybody else's house either, unless you were like really a part of the family. So, why am I talking about cleaning toilets? Cleaning toilets is not glamorous or exciting work, and neither is serving on the Board of Trustees. But it's got to be done. And what I've realized is that belonging in a community is about showing up for the work that has got to be done, even when it isn't exciting or glamorous. I didn't feel like I truly belonged before I joined the board because I was only showing up for the fun stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've loved serving on the board. I've learned so much and gotten to connect with such amazing people, and I love being able to serve our congregation in this way. But perhaps rewarding is a more accurate description of the work than fun. Another way that cleaning toilets is like serving on the Board of Trustees is that they don't stay clean, right? You have to keep cleaning them. And the work of the board is similarly never really done. The details change, but every year the same cycle of planning and budgeting and projects begins again. And belonging in a community isn't a one-time thing either. When we choose to show up for the unfun stuff, the boring meetings, the difficult conversations, the literal and metaphorical toilet cleaning, as well as the fun stuff, we begin to belong. But true belonging is when we keep showing up for the work over and over again, when we keep showing up for each other and keep cleaning the toilets, because somebody's got to do it. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Soren Kramer, and I'm not going to talk about cleaning toilets, but I am a colorectal surgeon, but I'm not going to talk about cleaning toilets, okay? Just give me a whole nother thought about things a little bit there. Okay. Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now? Yes, I can bring it up. Okay. Okay, I'm going back a little bit further than they did, so let's talk a little bit. So, I was born and raised in Northwest Arkansas by parents who were both professors at the University of Arkansas. And my mother, who was often referred who were both professors at the University of Arkansas, one in philosophy and the other in zoology. My father had Jewish roots, but was not religious, and my mother, who often referred to Jesus as the gentle rabbi, lived by the Golden Rule, and later became a member of the Unitarian Fellowship. Dinner time at our house was sacred in our family, and I grew up participating in rigorous discussions about ethics and science. Growing up in the Bible Belt as a junior high student, I often found myself arguing about religion, especially when confronted by a classmate who told me I was going to hell. It was pretty obvious to her that I had not been saved by Jesus. When I met my wife, Karen, in college, I vowed not to bring up religion. She was a lifelong member of the Methodist Church, and I didn't want to mess things up. When we finally talked about religion, all she said was there was no point in discussing it until I had read the Bible, which I still haven't. So that was that. Before we moved here in 2007, we lived in Fort Smith, Arkansas for 16 years. It was a conservative town of about 75,000 people, and whenever you met anyone for the first time, their first question always was, "What church do you go to?" I learned early on just to answer that question by saying, "My wife belongs to the Methodist Church." And for some strange reason, that seemed to be all I had to say. For years, I had been pretty successful at dodging any questions about my religious beliefs. Until one day, in the pre-op area before surgery, around a lot of nurses, my patient who didn't have his hearing aids on leaned up and in a loud voice asked me, "Doc, Do you believe in God? My standard answer that my wife belongs to the Methodist Church didn't exactly work here. So I shouted back, well, probably not quite the same way you do. That sounds like a great answer from an agnostic, doesn't it? But once again, that seemed to be all I had to say, and we moved on into the OR. In 2006, the medical community in Fort Smith had changed, and we began looking around for another place to live. When a job opened up at Mercy here in Des Moines, the first thing we looked for was whether or not there was a Unitarian church. Karen was interested in finding a place where we could both belong, and her beliefs had changed over the years. The First Unitarian Church website was filled with groups engaged in all kinds of activities. When I interviewed for the job, we actually came to a Sunday service and were greeted by Lori Emerson Clare. We felt very welcomed, and we've been here ever since. This is why I choose to belong here. First Unitarian Church is a place where I can honestly say, I'm not sure I believe there's a God, and that's okay. When I get asked where I go to church, I can now say, I belong to First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. It's a good feeling. We have both found a place to belong here together. Serving on the board is a way for me to get more engaged with activities and daily operations of the church and to give back. I look forward to my 3 years on the board. Thank you.
This is really fun. I think we have a couple of other board members in here who are not speaking. I think there's two maybe, stand up. Walter and Anne, raise your hands. Any other board members in here? I know Linda Goff is absent, but thank you to all the board members. And I'm a first-time board member as well. I first came to this church about 55 years ago as a guest. This was also when the famous Edna Griffin was attending and her family, and I knew her son Stan. I always thought that was so amazing. I had decided about 5 years earlier that I really didn't belong in the Methodist church anymore, or any Christian church for that matter, and I had started exploring other religions like Buddhism and Baha'i, and maybe no religion at all. So I was impressed by the open and accepting humanist approach of this church in 1970, and really impressed, of course, by this very cool building and woods, which we're going to improve. Ooh. Jump forward 25 years after college and getting married, and I was back in the Des Moines area with 2 young children looking for a church home. Our family became members for several years. The kids went through the youth programs at the time, participated in plays and talent events. Our family got to know folks and participated in circle suppers and discussions. And we attended when we had the time. So I was a member of this church when the children were younger, but then we all got busy. We started attending less and less. The kids had their own Sunday activities. And finally, we all stopped attending. I became a member of that sandwich generation, working full-time and helping take care of medical problems with my folks while the kids were still at home. I cultivated a meditation practice off and on, but I had no real spiritual anchor. Well, jump ahead another 10 years or so, throw in a divorce, and boy, was I ready and needing to come back to this church. I joined again in 2009 and knew that is where I needed to be, that this is my spiritual home. So one of the best and deepest experiences for me was being involved in Wellspring programs where we explored our roots and beliefs with a small group, and I had spent so many years trying to explain to friends and family what I didn't believe in. And so in this program and with this church, it gave me the words and courage to say what I do believe in. And yet, I still attended sporadically over the years since 2009, comfortable in the knowledge that as Unitarians, we don't use guilt or damnation to get you in these seats and involved. I was still very busy taking care of older children and parents, working full-time, busy meeting my husband Chris and marrying him, retiring and traveling a lot, visiting kids and grandkids, and I have to admit, spending a lot of Sunday mornings drinking coffee, gardening, solving New York Times puzzles, and thinking about how much I would really enjoy church that morning until I noticed that, oh, it's 9:45, darn it, and I'm still in my PJs. Well, then came November 5th, 2024. Like so many others, I had been suffering from ever-growing anxiety about the direction of our country and state. And like so many others, I was filled with ever-growing anger and alienation. So anxiety, anger, alienation, the triple A's. And I was overwhelmed by a feeling that I did not belong in this country, and I certainly did not belong in this state anymore. But of course, feeling that and really making it happen are two very different things. And then I thought about where I do want to belong. I thought about all the good local social justice work happening in this church, and I want to be a vital part of that. I thought about our liberal religion and thought about what it takes to keep this sanctuary for all of us in these seemingly hardest of hard times. I thought about how harmful to myself and others it is to be anxious, angry, and alienated. And I decided I need to use that wasted energy to step up and devote it instead to the work of this community. I chose to take my turn and be a part of the Board of Trustees as we move forward and expand to include those who sorely need our radical welcome. So for these reasons, it is here I choose to belong to this church, to this board, and to this beloved community. Thank you.
Now for our final hymn, number 317, verses 2 and 4. Please join me in saying the extinguishing chalice words. As we extinguish the flame on our chalice, we ignite it inside ourselves. Our commitment to our mission and to one another is an unquenchable flame. Let us remember that we are not alone until we light this flame next time. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues until we are together again. Friends, be strong, be well, be loving.
As this live stream from First Unitarian Church comes to an end, remember that previous live streams can be found on our YouTube channel. We'd love to see you in person someday. Until then, thanks for joining us.